Well, I have some editing to do on this one. Oh, what a bummer. Check, check, check. Check the microphone. It's probably going to sound like very tinny because now I'm using my computer's audio. Okay, everyone's saying better. Way better. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so my AirPods have completely failed me. So, no problem. The betters are flying now. Alright. Very cool. 8:01, we'll give people like 3 minutes to jump in and hang out. Probably for like an hour. Maybe less. That's what I try to kick for. Hope everybody's doing well. Still locked down, locked in. My wife is back to work. Started back on Monday, so that's good. She volunteered to go back. She's a dental hygienist, so she's got a pretty elevated anxiety style of job, especially when it comes to this type of situation going on in the world. But she's a soldier, so she's doing it. Thank goodness. She's been out of work for 2 months. I'm still definitely working. One of the technicians who I work with have been working with for almost probably 9 years, 10 years now. He had to get heart surgery. So the shop is busy, but it's because we're down a technician. So it's good, bad, because he's not in the best shape, but he is now. He's home now, so that's good. For any of you guys who do not know me, my name is Cody Richards. I am the owner and content creator for all of MotoMD, and it's a website or blog or video channel or tutorial service, whatever you want to call it, on pretty much all things Honda motorcycles. I do love old motorcycles, so a lot of content can be kind of catered to that, but I work on all Honda stuff all day long, Monday through Saturday, besides on Tuesdays, my day off. So, welcome. Try to bring a professional spin to all the content that you see on YouTube for motorcycle related stuff. I try to bring a professional side to it as I've been doing it with school about 14, 15 years now. So, welcome. Usually what we'll do is we'll start off with like some kind of short little like interesting topic or a topic that I hear about the most, like a FAQ, and then I'll open the floor up to all of you fine people to talk about your motorcycles, maybe something that you're running into now. I don't know it all on every brand, but I know some fundamentals. I think I can help you out the best that I can. I also run a membership where if you do need a lot more help on your bike and maybe more of my attention to or help from other great guys, there's tons of members on there who are just really smart and awesome people, and we can kind of dive into your issue specifically. I also offer, now we're at almost 7 different, maybe 6 different carb cleans, complete carb cleans inside of that membership. I actually am releasing one tonight. Sneak peek video will be coming out tonight at 9, around like 9:15, on the VF750 Magna. I've been working on that for a long time. It's a humongous product. Lots of hours and hours of content of cleaning those V4 carbs, and it's all done. And I'm pumped to release that to you guys. So you'll see a YouTube video come up after this to watch. It's not long. I'll show you guys a quick little trick on sinking carbs on the bench without the need of anything weird. Just an eyeball and knowing what you're looking at. So I hope you guys find that helpful. But it's just a quick little sneak peek of what's going on inside that membership. So 8:05, start this timer. Hope you all are doing well. Please in the comments let me know where you're from, where you're listening in at. And you can shoot the comments here as I'm talking. I won't answer it right away, but I'll try to beat down this list as we move on into that section of the live stream. So, LEDs, let me wet the whistle. This is a fancy water bottle, nothing weird. As I spilled on myself. Okay, so LED lighting. Oh, LED lighting. LED is resourceful because it can be brighter, for sure, with lower draw on your system. Is that a good thing? I don't know. May not be. But LED systems are really cool because, again, they don't rob a lot from the system. They can be brighter. You can get different colors. They can function in ways that regular halogen or incandescent stuff, which you won't really deal with, but they can prove their worth in the way that they look. May not necessarily be brighter at night in some cases. Sometimes they are. It all depends. LED stands for light emitting diode. Diode is the key word in that phrase, and a lot of people like to switch out their, because you can, the LED world is blown up. You can get awesome LED flashlights, headlights, turn signals, all kinds of crap for cheap. The market is just flooded with all different types of designs because it's lightweight. It's really, really cool. They can make all different stuff happen with LEDs. Really, really cool system. It's awesome if you ever want to YouTube the way that they work. It's really, really cool. It's black magic stuff going on. But yeah, many people like to put it in their tail lights or their turn signals. They can get really small ones, flush mount. They can do all kinds of cool stuff with them, which is helpful. The problem that people will run into mainly is that when they swap them out, they wire them in, they're stoked. They just spent $40, maybe $4 on a pair of LED lights, and they get them hooked up and something goes wrong. The first thing that people get wrong is the way that they're wiring, because the overseas companies will send you wiring colors that don't make any sense. They'll send you a red wire and a black wire, and then they say that the black wire is ground, or they say the black wire is power and red one's ground, when in all essence you feel like everything that is red should be a power wire. Regardless, what you need to know is that LEDs are diodes. Okay? The way that a diode function is, it's looking for power. It's only allowing power in just one way. Okay? It can only take in that polarity, that voltage, that current in one way. That's the way that it works. And LEDs generally are DC systems. Okay? There are definitely AC style lights out there. You don't see them too much when it comes to motorcycles. If they are, they're going to be specific when they tell you that's what they're for. But mainly what you order is going to be for DC. And I would recommend doing the DC style LED. Okay? Less moving parts. What was I saying? LED diode. So when you wire in that LED, it has to be wired in correctly. Just by simply flopping the wires backwards, it won't work. Okay? Super simple, but I see it all the time. Just flop the wires. Okay? Obviously, what I like to do when I buy LEDs, or if you get turn signals in the mail or whatever, test them real quick before you wire them and tuck that wiring on nice and clean and electrical tape the crap out of it and then zip tie it so all the wires break. When you do all that, test the wire before you put it on there, because when you put it on there, and you get it all wired in, you turn the key on and nothing works, you're like, oh crap, I have to take it all back apart again. And then you do it worse the next time because you spent all that time doing it cleanly the first time. Yeah, the first time. Don't zip tie your wires that tight. I was just kidding. It's just what I see. And please use a better brand of electrical tape, man. If you're going to wire in some harnessing, this is a little rant, okay? You're going to wire in some lighting on your bike. I understand. Home Depot? Or not Home Depot. Yeah, Home Depot. Yeah, no, not really Home Depot. Harbor Freight, Amazon Prime Now, some other Northern Tools, whatever. They'll send you a pack of 20 for like $4. You're like, holy crap, this is a good deal. It's not a good deal. Okay? That electrical tape is garbage. It is 100% garbage. And it's even more garbage like 5 or 6 days later when you go to unravel it if you need to, or a year down the road when you have a problem. And it's just goopy, and you got sticky crap all over your hands, and you're like, "Whoa, this electrical tape is weird." No, it's just junk. Okay, definitely get like Super 88 or a nice solid brand of electrical tape. Okay, spend some money. I have different labels of containers. They have, if you look into the electrical tape field, they got tons of different styles. Okay, the more expensive they are, they're just way better to work with. They're easier to cut. They're flimsy. They're flexible. They fold better, and they don't leave goop behind, and they last forever. Okay, just a little rant. But so routing the power it has to be in the correct manner. And the other thing is that when you go, let's say you wire it all right, it's all, and you got, also keep in mind that when you're routing or wiring in turn signals, okay, most modern bikes have running lights up front, okay? That means it's a 3-wire bulb, or it has 3 legs, or it has 2 wires, but it also grounds. It all depends on the way the light works. If you have an older bike, a lot of times the framing of the light grounds to the ear or wherever it's mounted. But most newer stuff, you'll see a 3-wire system. Okay, you got a ground wire, you got a constant on low beam style of light. When the key comes on, those come on. Then you have a flasher light, which is now activating a different signal in that bulb. It's a dual filament bulb, so it's 3 wires. So don't go online and buy 2 sets of 2-wire bulbs, because that jank ain't gonna work. Either it won't pass inspection because you don't have running lights. Excuse me, you don't have running lights anymore, or it's just gonna. I mean, if you don't have a state inspection and you don't care, about running lights up front, then you can just have 2 bulbs that flash, the front and the rear. When the only time you see them is when they're blinking. That's fine. In Virginia, it's a Commonwealth, and it's way stricter. We got tons of rules and regulations. So yeah, 3-wire up front, 2-wire in the back. But let's say you wire it all in, turn the key on, hit the turn signal switch, and those lights are going nuts. There's blink, 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 blink. And you're like, I guess that's right. But it's not right because of your relay. Okay, so if you were to take the turn signal bulb out of left or right, depending on the bike, but most bikes, if you take the turn signal bulb out of the rear on one of them and you turn the turn signal on, that light's going to blink faster. Okay, the one that's still plugged in, the one that's still installed, the light bulb. It's almost like a fail-safe or a dummy indicator for the rider. Okay, it's saying like, there's a problem with your turn signal as to why it's blinking this fast. Okay, the thing is that your relay is not smart enough to understand when you have an LED light plugged in or when you have the regular incandescent or whatever type of bulb it is. It's waiting for that load to be taken from that bulb, and when it's not there, it just keeps reverting it back to the front or reverting it back to the rear. So it blinks twice as fast. It's delivering that power twice as fast because it's no longer the load's not being taken up anymore. So even if you're in a car and you're driving, you see someone's turn signal and it's blinking like crazy, you're like, their front turn signal's out because you're following them, so it's the front. And so that's just a piece of knowledge as far as that goes. So the easiest thing to do to solve this is to wire in or plug in an LED type relay. Whatever they do inside that little black box, probably add resistors to it, they can get the LEDs to function correctly. Okay, LED relay. So if you buy LED lights, look for an LED relay that will plug into your bike or that you can get to wire into your bike. That's key. Alright, because again, the relay can't tell when the LEDs are on. So when the LEDs are on, they draw so little power that it just thinks a bulb is out. So it's just like, oh, okay, I'll send power as fast as I need to. So that's the second. That's probably one of the second most issues people will run into when they do that. So what they'll do is the only way that you can trick that, which is a whole mess. I don't recommend doing this. People do it, but putting a resistor in line. Okay, so now you're trying to buy a resistor, and then you're trying to go online and look up like, what ohm reading should I get for my resistor to slow down the flash to get this to work. Maybe they don't have a LED relay for your bike or whatever, and you can't find one. I'm pretty sure you can try to wire one up and make it work, but you would have to add some type of resistance in the line. So they sell the resistors in different resistance readings, like 300 ohms or whatever. I don't know what the number is that you would need. You'd have to do some Ohm's law and start calculating all these different numbers out to understand what the bulb did take. That's how much of a load it takes. That's how much wattage it has. So it has this much resistance through it. So I need to put this size of resistor in the line so that my turn signals will blink at a noticeable rate. That's noticeable. It's not going crazy like you wired them wrong. So yeah, instead of doing all that, try to look for LED relay. That would probably solve all of your problems. Again, AC turn signals is a different story. They can, again, they're mainly made for DC lighting. If you turn them into AC, you're going to start running into problems with the way that they function. They may not function at all. The life expectancy of that LED may not be as long as what a regular DC is. It's way more consistent lighting. It's what the LED is needing, that consistent one-path polarity style of light or voltage to make them operate correctly. If you don't, that's why people like switching their AC headlight or AC lights and putting like diodes and resistors in them, so because the diodes transfer that AC into DC, and it's just more consistent. It's not like a flashing light and this looks stupid. Yeah, like when you rev it up, the headlight will get brighter, also will get dimmer, like pulsing. Like mainly on like enduros dirt bikes that are running like an AC lighting system, which can totally happen. But even then, we like just went over this topic with the members. One of my lifelong members who's been in there since day one, like 2 years, 3 years. He brought up this topic because he is into those bikes. We had a long debate, not a debate, but it was about a 45-minute video on that topic of AC lighting, and it was a great topic. It's a really challenging topic, and I enjoyed it. But we just talked about this over there. So yeah, even on those AC systems, they are still running regulators. They're still running rectifiers for certain things, and this, that, and the other. But we won't get too much into that. So those are the key things. Make sure your power is routing nicely to the LED. Make sure that you do have some type of LED relay to power those correctly. Otherwise, you're going to be doing a bunch of math that you don't want to do, or putting in some really ugly looking resistors and botching the harness up, and it looks like crap. Start soldering stuff, wires start breaking. I do solder stuff, but it's got to be in the right spot, man. And if you're starting to do it on, control routing or turn signal routing inside the headlight, you're just asking for it to break and not work right. Especially if you don't know how to solder. So, not saying that that's not like you're shamed for not knowing how to solder, but it's a very particular thing that you can get wrong and over solder and make it worse. So, anything else? I don't know. I think that's it. I'm sorry, interesting question. We got 59 people in here, current viewers. That's what's up. Welcome, everybody. If you guys are just tuning in. Again, at the end of this video, I will be coming out with the video. Sorry, it's been a little bit slow on video content. Since my wife wasn't working, we had like a huge list of stuff that we wanted to knock out in the house because both of us could kind of tag team it. So I just been doing all kinds of stuff. Okay, I got the garage wall finished. I put up that whole bench is brand new. I put them over there. All kinds of stuff. Finally got the 350 harness being shipped from Spark Moto for the 350 build. That's been about 2 months. Waiting on that, so I'm pumped to get that back and going. So I've just been kind of busy. Again, releasing a video tonight on kind of announcing that the VF750 Magnus, so the 93 through 04, if you own this bike, you plan on going through the carburetors, I have a very elaborate, step-by-step, broken down carb cleaning masterclass, almost, I would say, or it's really just a workshop that I'm finally finished with. I mean, I went through step-by-step, showed you these tools, parts, We do everything on that and put it back together, and you got tons of reference stuff, and it's awesome. I'm excited about it. I actually, if you are on here and you actually purchased one of the inline 4 carburetor videos, or if you're a member already, you get it for free. So, lucky you. But I've shoved it and packed it into the inline 4 product as well. So if you get the V4 workshop, you'll also get the inline 4. Not that you may not need it. You know, you may say, oh, I don't want to need that one. I just need this one. Well, it's too bad. I can only put them in a certain amount of spaces on how I run that membership. So let's just say you get a free card. Okay? But I'm really excited about that. That video will come out tonight, and it's going to be great. So let's get into some questions. If you guys have any LED lighting questions, and I had something that you were like, man, he didn't answer that question, just put it up on here, then I can hopefully get to it. Maybe I can answer it. Maybe I can. So welcome everybody again. Start going down. First question off the bat, the first guy in, he just hit it right off the top. Boom. Why does my 79 CB650 run only on full choke? It's because the carburetors are dirty. Okay? Boom. Done. I could go home I am home. I could sign up here right now. That's probably like a 95% sure that's your issue. Okay, you could have a vacuum leak, a horrible vacuum leak on all 4 of the carburetors. Man, carburetor's probably dirty, man. Bike probably sat up for longer than 6 months, 8 months, a year. You probably just bought it, or you came back from deployment. I don't know why, or I do know why. The idle circuit's definitely clogged up. Okay, your gas tank's running crap straight into the carburetors, and now they're all dirty or something's going on. But you're gonna have to take the carburetors apart and completely clean them, tear them down, make them pretty again. That's what you need to do. That's why it runs only on full choke, which I think that model does actually use choke plates and not. Yeah, it's a 79. It probably uses a choke plate system. So all you're doing is just taking away all the airflow into the carb and forcing it to run on a much richer mix, which is telling you that when the choke is not up and you do have more air flowing through it, it's not enough fuel, which means that is too lean. Okay? Hope that makes sense. What's going on, Subhadip? Snafu. Hi everyone from Scotland. What's going on, man? I don't know how to say your name. Novia. How? Kind of hard to read. I'm sure what you meant to say was, how can I install a LED headlight on my 81 CB750 Custom? The LED headlight, either you can get a bulb for it, an LED bulb, which they do have available. Make sure it's probably going to match the headlight bucket, like a H3 or H4, whatever they are. And you can, boom, plug that in. They look like a bulb. They act like a bulb. They smell like a bulb. And they'll probably function like a bulb if it's all correct. But you just wire it in, man. If you got an LED, like a whole new 7-inch lens or 6-inch lens, whatever it is, it should have 3 wires, and you run them. Ground, power, ground, low beam, high beam. It should work fine. Ray Arellano. If I cut 3 turns off the spring of the carb, is there any change in? If I cut 3 turns off the spring of the carb, is there any changes of the performance? I have no idea what you're trying to cut. Yeah. My sound's messed up. Yeah, I know. It was sucking earlier. Blah blah blah. Sound. Blah. Robert Hersey, what's going on, man? Welcome from Portland. Mike Edgar, how do I put an LED headlight on my 1979 Honda CM400 automatic? Again, what I just explained to that other guy. It should be pretty straightforward. It should just be able to accept three wires. That's all your headlight has, just the 3 wires going to it. It probably has 4, but one's just like a spare ground for something else, but it's 3. Green, white, blue. Green's ground, always on Honda. And I think the white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white is the, I'm going to get it wrong, 50-50 chance, 50-50 chance. Low beam. Probably got it wrong. I always forget which one. Let's see. Way better. Mike Edgar, same question. Already got it. Roll throwing dice. Roll the losing dice. I got it. Got it. Crashed my bike the other day. Sorry to hear that, man. Can't move my arm. Do need tires. Need a break-in period? Absolutely. Absolutely, tires need break-in periods. On our work orders, we wrote in big bold letters in ink, give at least 100 miles on the tires. Wear them in before you start gunning it and, hot rodding the thing. At least 100 miles. Okay, take it nice and slow. We have seen, I haven't personally seen this, but I've definitely heard stories of installing brand new tires on it. That guy's on a super bike. He goes out there and rips it one time and boom, he's on his back. Okay? Gotta be careful with tires. 100-mile break-in. Take it easy on corners. Just chill. Okay? It's not worth it. And then once you get over that 100-mile mark, you'll probably see that a lot of that shine's gone that was on there originally. And she's ready to rip. Great question. Thor Northeastern Regional Trucker. How do I set up LED turn signals properly? I think I might have been able to explain. I think I explained that in the beginning. I'm pretty sure I did. Again, either a 3-wire or 2-wire system. One's low beam or running light. One's going to be the flicker. You can just take the light out, go to your battery, find which one's ground. Hopefully what you buy should tell you have some kind of schematic, say brown is ground, or green is ground, or white's ground, whatever they tell you. Put one on the battery and just look at the light and touch the battery with one of the wires, and you're either going to see a really bright light or a really low beam light. That low beam light is going to be your running light, and the next one is going to be for your turn signal wire. I would recommend you getting some kind of test light so you can figure out which wire is which on your bike. Okay? Green's usually always ground on motorcycles. Not on all motorcycles. The manual will help you with that. Tony says, have a 1983 CB 1000C and need a rare head gasket. Can I use one from the CB 1100? I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you that. I've never had to do that before. I mean, like what year 1100? What year CB 1100? I mean, I can try to cross-reference the head gasket and see what other bikes it was used on, but it's not likely. It's not likely that it will work. If the CB 1100 gasket's way more available and you can find one for like $10, buy it and compare it to yours. That's my best guess. Kind of a waste of money, but I don't know. Sorry, man. Can you try to burn? What? That's pretty random. Ray, I'm from the Philippines. Shout out. Lynn H. I rebuilt a 1970 Honda SL100. I am having problems keeping it running. It starts, but won't stay running. What did I do wrong? I got it looking brand new, and it won't run. Frustrating situation, man. It is a frustrating situation. Starts, won't stay running. I mean, most of the time, man, it has to do with the carburetor. So if you put like a Chinese mock-up carb on that thing, that's probably why it's not going to run right. Okay, it's not the easiest thing to get those things to run right. The ones that you buy off Amazon for $17, it looks identical, but on the side it says like something in hieroglyphics. They look similar. They do a great job of copying it. They are just garbage. If it's the stock carb, you either miss something, you don't have the idle turned up, or you don't have the carb dialed in quite right. Have a look at the emulsion tube. How old was that? How nasty and cruddy was that carburetor? Is the emulsion tube all eaten up on the inside? Is the main jet all eaten up? Is the needle jet all chewed up? I've seen that. Just dealt with that with one of my members on his 750. Make sure that your points are right. You have a 6-volt system there, so make sure your battery's perfect. The battery's got to be perfect on those 6-volt systems. But it's more than likely carburetor or points, for that matter. Justo from New Jersey, what's going on? Brian Gailey from Boston, what's up? Jason Kohler from P-Town, Virginia, which is where I live. What's going on, Jason? P-Town. Have I not met you? Have I met you? Name sounds familiar. Mike Edgar. Okay, so now he got a little bit deeper on his explanation. How do I LED headlight on my sealed beam 79? Because it is sealed beam. You can't use that headlight. You got to use a completely different headlight. You cannot put an LED headlight bulb or wire in an LED headlight to your sealed beam bulb. It has to be completely changed. Completely. Okay? You can't crack them open and put something in there and you're going to destroy it. Okay? So, gotta get a whole new headlight. Find a headlight off of another bike that has a removable bulb, like in a later model 750, a later model 450 or 400, and make that work. Ebert from Long Island, New York. How much time we got in? We're only 27 minutes in? That's what's up. It's like I'm flying through these. I wish I knew how to say your name. I'm gonna say Tony. I bet your name's Tony. Tony. T-O-I-N-I. How would you guys say that? I think it's Tony. What up from Worcester, Massachusetts? Worcester, Mass. Dang it. Gregory Megatron. Do you run your LED straight to the battery or the stator? So if you're talking about LEDs that are being run to light the bike up, not necessarily putting them into the system, and then you can have them on a switch, like the LED lighting system comes with like a switch, like XK Glow. I love XK Glow stuff. I do install a lot of that stuff on Goldwings. It's on a switch, really intelligent switch, so it can remember when you had them on when you turn the key off. So if you had them off and you turn the key off and you turn the key back on, it will stay off. If you had them on, turn the key off and turn it back on, it'll stay on. It's really cool. And it's no special wiring, but I usually put those into the accessory. That's for a Goldwing. Pretty much you're running them into the battery, or you can just run them into a line that has power with the key on. So if you're running LED lights that are cheap and they don't have some kind of controller or a switch to function them, then you want to run them with, they're probably going to have an on-off switch, more than likely. If they care about selling products, they should have an on-off switch. Then you can, if you don't feel comfortable with running them straight to the battery, because it's just taking up a bunch of room on your battery and you don't want to do that, then you can just run them into a power wire. So like a headlight wire or running light wire in the rear, find which one's getting power when the key's on, boom, splice into that and make that happen. My best advice for anyone who does do the LED lighting, and let's say you may not be the guy who likes to take his bike in to get it serviced at your local friendly dealership. A lot of people hate dealerships. I actually want to do a topic on dealerships in the future. We get a lot of flack for a good reason in some cases. But regardless, let's say you are not the type of guy, or you are the type of guy to bring in your bike to a dealership. You say, you know what, I wanted them to do a 24,000 on it. I don't feel like messing with the pulling the motor out, or I don't feel like messing with
doing the front forks or doing a valve adjustment, something like that, and you just would rather have them do it because you trust them, whatever. Let's say you bring your bike to me, you know what I mean? And you hardwire in all of these lights that don't even allow you to take the tank off, right? You're just like, oh, I'm going to throw this here and there, and I'm going to put it on the foot peg. Why not? I'm putting the foot peg. That'll look cool. And then you can't remove anything off the bike because you double-sided sticky taped and then hardwired it and then like electrical taped it with that $3.99, that electrical tape that I was talking about earlier, super cheap stuff, and then you zip tie it all into the frame. Dude, nightmare job to work on. Yeah, I'd rather just go home because it's probably not going to work the same way when you put it back together, likely. So then you're fixing somebody else's problem, or you're going to be like, you know what, that light did work when I dropped it off, and now it doesn't work. Now I'm like, oh my god. And then so then you have to make everything work. It can just be a nightmare. So please, just for the sake of yourself, because let's say you do have to take the tank off, and you want to put lights on the bottom of the tank, or the rear fender, or whatever. Dude, make some nice, quick disconnects. Use quality stuff, good electrical tape, good connectors, good tools, and do it right, because you'll be so much more appreciative when you go to take it all off, instead of you trying to stick up 3-time removed double-sided sticky tape to make it all work. Just save the headache, man, because that's what destroys those LED strips, is when you're trying to pull them off and you're like, it's supposed to bend and move and flow and all this stuff, and it's somewhat heat resistant, but it's not, man, because as soon as you start bending it, especially if there's the cheap ones that it'll break, or half of it will work. So quick disconnects. I know those wires are tiny. They be running some like hair follicle wires on those LED lights. It's a pain in the butt. Strip them way back and take that raw wire and just start folding it in so you can get a nice solid connection on that wire. That's my best advice for that, because they are tiny. They're nowhere near what stock wiring is. It's like 16 or 18, 14 gauge, whatever it is on certain systems. But I know those LED lights are a pain in the butt because just of how small, like, it's stupid, but it's cheap. So yeah, just strip back a little bit further, maybe like double fold the raw end and then fold it back onto the insulation, and then use your butt connector. You kind of make one big thick end on that wire, and it just works so much better. Even then, it's still too thin for most modern butt connectors. So another rant, sorry. I hope that information was helpful for whoever I was talking to. Okay, so he was talking about the underglow stuff. Cool. Dude, XK Lighting, great company. I love them. Lynn H, the carb is completely rebuilt. Lynn H. So he's the SL100 guy. Carb is completely rebuilt, and you still can't get it to idle. So you either check your ignition system out, okay? Check your condenser out. If that stuff is junk, then you're going to be losing spark. I mean, it's a very basic motor. Something's being missed. If everything, this is the number one thing I hear, is that everything's been rebuilt, everything's like spot on. If it was spot on, then it would work correctly. Okay, so something is missed. I would check the condenser out, make sure that that's not your points aren't just like, if you're looking physically at your point on that system, and it's just like putting off this crazy white spark, the likelihood that system is faulty is very high. Okay, you're talking about old system. So check that out. Make sure that your charging system is working properly, because 6-volt systems they suck. The charging system sucks. Everything has to be working, or you'll overcharge it and you'll blow everything. Okay, your running light has to be working. Your headlight has to be working, your turn signals have to be working, your indicator lights have to be working. They all draw in the system, and the system is designed to take exactly what load is being applied to it. And if that stuff goes out, your tail light goes out, your turn signal goes out, your indicator lights go out, whatever, and all of a sudden starts overcharging because the battery is used as part of the regulation system, you'll start blowing everything. That's a side note too.
But yeah, condenser. Check the condenser out, check the points out. I mean, you got compression obviously because it is running. It's one of two things. It's either, you know, you got worn parts that you can't see even though it's been rebuilt, or you got a leak somewhere, a vacuum leak somewhere. Yeah. It's hard to say. It's probably carburation though. I don't care if it's been completely rebuilt. It probably has to do with something's awry. Might be too lean, too rich, something like that. With your mixtures. Joe McBride from Indiana rides a 2016 Goldwing. Congratulations, dude. Awesome bike. Lucky King from Alabama. What's going on? Mike R. Please talk about light scatter when replacing H4 with cheap LED. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what light scatter is. That sounds like some term that someone made up on the internet. Or hyper flash. Maybe that's what you meant? And I did in the beginning of this video. Brian Gately, I just changed the LED turn signals, had to solder in resistors to make them work right. Yep. For wire, what is the gauge we should use from Ray? So this is 16 gauge, and this is pretty thick. Like, I would consider 16 gauge too thick. But the thing is that certain companies, the hard part is like, you'll find a 16 gauge wire and like, it's just like, it doesn't match another 16 gauge wire. Regardless, I wouldn't go any bigger than 16, okay? So like an 18 gauge wire is probably really good to use. A lot of harnesses will use something much smaller, like a 20 gauge or an 18 gauge. Is that what I said? 16? Yeah, so 18 would be smaller because it gets bigger with smaller numbers. Right, because 0 gauge wire is huge. So 16, so 18 gauge is good to use. 20 gauge is okay for when you get into smaller areas. Never go from the load source of the power wire that's coming in to a light. Don't like cut in a smaller gauge wire. If anything, you can go bigger, but you can't go smaller. Okay, so when power's coming in and you cut it to go somewhere else or whatever, make sure it's either going to be a little bit bigger or the same size. Don't ever go smaller and step down. Okay, just FYI. I use the plug and play LEDs. Just plug them into the bulb hole. There you go. Simple. The plug and play aren't usually bright enough, are they? They're not talking to me. I'm impeding on their conversation. How many people we got in here still? 66. That's what's up. We're 40 minutes in. We got like 10 more minutes, 20 more minutes. I'm trying to make it down this list. How long is this list? Okay. We're about a quarter down, or 3/4 down. Keto Body, American made. That's a solid name for your YouTube account, dude. Keto Body, American made. Jealous. I have a 95 GL 1500. I've lost power to my headlights. If I hit the high beam, there is no indication on the instrument panel. I checked the bulbs, they are fine. My position lights are on. My fuses are good. GL 1500. Check your starter button. I know that sounds weird, but check the starter button out while the bike is running, right? Keep flicking that starter button and see if you see any headlights come on. I feel like there's a wire somewhere on there that gets pinched. Or else something on the 1800, the GL 1800. No headlight, indicator lights out. No high beam. Yeah, check the starter button. The starter button is designed to cut the headlight when it's firing it up, and the starter button's going bad, or it's losing connection there. That's what will happen. The starter button will kind of show that. Yeah. If that's incorrect, check back in with me. Hit me up on the email, and I'll see if I can get to you. I get tons of emails, tons of emails. The best place to get in touch with me is usually going to the membership, but send me an email if you can. I'll try to read it, try to remind me who you are, what bike you're working on, and I'll see if I can't dig a little deeper on that, because I know someone who may be able to answer that better than I can. I can give you a better answer. But I would say check the starter button. Yeah. Duck 2669 got a 7980 Honda CB650. Dude, I'll tell you what. Ever since I've started doing the YouTube channel, doing this, the love that people have for CB650s is insane. I mean, I didn't think that there were that many out there, but I'm telling you, man, people love those. It's probably a price point thing. What I'm thinking. People pick them up because they're like $1,000, $800, $600. It's like a price point. The 80s are like just a solid price point for people. But I've helped more CB650 stuff, and I don't even see it, dude. I don't even see them that often in the shop. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've maybe seen like 4 in 10 years, maybe. I've cleaned some carbs on for some people and stuff, but anyways, 7980 Honda CB650. My numbers 1 and 3 cylinders take their time to warm up, and it started with 3 warm up, and it started with 3. Could it be my carbs, and would AirPods be a problem? They are cheap pieces of crap, AirPods. Yeah, they could be a problem, but it's likely the carburetors and the jetting that's going on in the carburetors, okay? If you slap some cheap AirPods on your carburetors and expected it to run well, then you're sadly mistaken. You will need to do some serious jetting. Stepping up the idles, maybe 1 or 2 numbers. If you can, maybe back out the mixture screws for those cylinders, maybe a half turn. And see if that doesn't help it, but you're likely going to have to be dealing with some jetting type of situations. And get some better pods on there, and really kind of dive into some good research on what kind of jetting you should run. I have multiple videos on that kind of stuff. I'll even give a shout out to like those guys like Ant over at Fort Bold. Me and him talk all the time. He does a lot of pod stuff. I do a lot of pod stuff, but I just don't like talk about it on YouTube. I'm sure I could, but I just haven't yet. Okay, because it's a losing battle, to be honest with you. Yeah, same question twice. Hello from Vancouver. VL Blackfish, what's going on? Motor vlogs from Vancouver Island. Dude, I watched a show about Vancouver Island, and it was called Alone, and that show was awesome. Think of Vancouver Island. Crazy. Crazy. 3M brand. Yes, Jason. 3M brand electrical tape. Any way you're referring to? Spot on. Haven't lost everybody yet? Okay, we're still at 6. We're doing good. We're chugging. Roll the losing dice. Never put AirPods on an old 4-cylinder, bro. You preach to the choir, man. But people like to do it. People like to do it. And sometimes it works well, but they'll figure it out. Ted King, hey Cody, like I tell my customers, you get what you pay for sooner or later. Amen, brother. Never put AirPods on the 70s on the bike will never run right. It's correct. It'll always lack something. But people just deal with it. It looks cool. Lynn, did you ever see those LED bulbs with little fans built into them? I put those in my truck. Now those are not as bright as I had hoped. Yeah. Dude, it's a, yeah. You never know, man. I think the halogen's the way to go, man. Those things are bright. But you just gotta, cheap LEDs, they'll be like, yeah, we're at like 5 million lumens. And then you get them and it's like, meh. Comes on. You're like, I guess that's bright. Because you bought it, you know. Wait, that's not, what's the opposite of buyer's remorse? Or is that buyer's remorse? When you buy something, you just like deal with it because you bought it, and you're like, oh no, it's fine. Like, it's fine, it's good. But really it sucks and you're not happy with it. It's called something. Mike Edgar, I think I already answered your question. Use Bike Master AirPods. Hebert, dude, great answer for Duck. Bike Masters are great. I like Bike Masters. I'm actually putting old pod filters on my 350 build because it's because I just am. And I'm trying to try out really cool brands. I think I'm gonna go with this brand called DNA filters. And their drinks are expensive, but they're sweet. And I'm gonna give them a shout out. See if I can use their product on the build. Pretty cool looking brand. I've looked into their stuff. Kevin King, dog, how you doing? Dog, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. A little overwhelmed with work and the business, but doing great. Family's healthy. You know, I did clean the switch housing for the hazard and turn signals. So are you saying that it was working before and not now it's not after? They work fine now. Nice and smooth. Oh, you're saying, okay, cool. Yeah, great video. It's a great video. That has helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people, that turn signal video that I have. It's a little bit of very meticulous, small stuff, but when you get it right, they function like gold, like a brand new switch. I love it. Use the LED flasher for my gold wing, works great. Yes, it does. We're getting close to the end. Oh, and our time's running out. That's what's up. Let's see. Why is this? I feel like when I scroll down, it just like skips. Like it's like 30 questions gone. So it's like scroll back up. Oh, there's so many more questions. Holy crap. $6.50. Okay. All right. Dog, how you doing? How you doing? I remember that one. Duck 19. Duck, you're getting all the questions, aren't you, dude? 650. I would like to turn into a bobber or chopper, and you said something about it not being a good idea. Please explain. Because just the geometry of the bike and the way that it's supposed to sit and the way that you want to. I mean, maybe a bobber, that's fine, but you're talking about an inline 4-cylinder. I mean, dude, to each his own. You know, people turned the inline 4 into choppers back in the 70s all the time. 450s, twins. It's just to each his own. It's just not my style. That's really why. Okay? It's just not like, I wouldn't want to turn, when I think of chopper, when I think of bobber, I think of something that has like a nice idle to it, not like an inline 4, something like a super bike, just something that's a little more choppy. It's just preference, dude, that's all. It's just preference. I mean, the bike's designed to be a middle set bike, and then you want to turn that into a chopper or a bobber or whatever you want to do, but your feet are still like underneath you. You're talking about like ultimate unrelaxed position. It doesn't seem like it's the right mic to me. That's all. There's no hate towards it at all, man. People do it all the time. Do I recommend electronic ignition for 78 CB750? Absolutely. Great system. If you get something that's, don't get like Tektronix or any of that garbage, get something that's you're going to pay for. Keep going, keep going. Mike asking the same questions over and over again. Hopefully you heard the answer. Keto Body needs you to do that for my GO 1500 carbs. I can totally do that. Hit me up. My 75 GO 1000 idles high when it's at temperature. Cold-blooded bike. Turn the idle down. You're going to be just dealing with it low idle until it's nice and warmed up. Yeah. It's just running at optimum temperature. Thank you for your time. Thanks you, Robert. Thank you for your time. How often do you hold these sessions? Kim Williams. I hold these sessions, I try to do them once a month. Once a month. I don't know when. Usually it's going to be on like a Tuesday. Usually I do it around this time, but I will do it, minimum, I will do them once a month. It may be back to back sometimes. You know, it really all depends on the content flow. Let's see. Alan, how does LED affect the voltage regulator? I don't think it's, on modern systems, it's not going to affect it that much. You're definitely not, because regardless, there's a wire that's telling the regulator what voltage it's at. Okay, so like if it's saying, if you're revving the motor up and RPMs are spiking and nothing's really being used because you have all this cool LED stuff, I mean, the regulator's smart enough to know that regardless, there's going to be a ceiling to how much I'm going to allow the battery to charge. So on most modern systems, it's not going to affect it. Brian Gately, what can happen if your chain is too tight? You're going to wear the sprockets out almost immediately. You can wear the camshaft or the countershaft bearings from your transmission and destroy that transmission. You can snap the chain, and then the chain goes into the case, and then it destroys the case. You may even destroy your heel at the same time. Depends on what kind of bike you have. Let's see. I have an 04 Yamaha Zuma scooter burning too much oil. What's the fix? God bless, man. You have to figure out why it's burning oil. You need to do a compression and a leak down test and figure out if you have if the cylinder and the rings are worn out. Okay? Do a leak down test. See if you have any leak and see if you have any blow by going past the rings. You might need to overhaul the engine or the valve train. You know. Tony, 83 CB1000C, 2 middle cylinders burning oil, good compression, 180 psi, new valve seals. What's the issue? It could be valve guides, it could be valve stems. It could, when you said you had new valve seals, it could be cylinder and rings. You smoked those 2 middle cylinders somehow and ran it low on oil or dirty air for a long extended period of time, and you may have good compression because you have oil sealing them. Sure, it's going to show up with great compression all the time because it's burning oil. It's getting oil up past the rings or up through the rings, and it's sealing those rings to the cylinder, so it's going to show great compression. That's why that's like one of the tricks to see if, why you have low compression. If you have low compression and you pour some oil down the cylinder and then you do the exact same check again, and all of a sudden your compression goes through the roof, it's because the rings are bad. Let's keep on rolling, keep on rolling. We got a couple minutes left. Y'all still with me? Right. You guys are awesome. Ryan Parker. Silly question. On my 01 VT 1100 C2 Sabre, I can't find where the other end of the carburetor air vent tube attaches. Can you shed some light on this, please? So, other end of the carburetor air vents. So, there's 3 air vents. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 air vents on the VT 1100 carburetors. You have the 2 middle ones that have the brass fittings on them that has that really cool looking pre-vent hose. You got 2 hoses that attach to the cylinder. No, I don't. I didn't even get me 1100. Do tons of videos on it. You got the 2 hoses that route right to the center. They kind of plug in side by side, and the hose wraps around the front cylinder's carb around that CV carb top. That goes to nothing. Just kind of tuck that into the center to where it's not interfering with the throttle butterfly spinning in the center of the carb. Just route it kind of down and like lay it. You know, it'll route around, and then it'll do this, and it'll go down, and you just kind of let it sit there. Okay. Talking about the bigger ones up top, the sub-air cleaner hoses. They're just 2 big fat hoses. They both go to both ends, so one kind of has like a little squiggly, and it goes to that one side, and the other one directly connects on the throttle cable side. Those both route into a sub-air cleaner box, a little tiny box that's usually mounted onto the front cylinder's cover. That has a filter inside, by the way. Check that out. It's probably gone or deteriorated. That's where those 2 go. Those are the only 2 vents, unless you have another model like a weird California model where there's like you have a tiny little vacuum hose that routes to the very top where the inlet. Okay, when the carbs plug in, you know, onto the flanges, like just above where it plugs in on the top side of it, there's like a little nipple right there. If those are closed, then you don't have that. If they're open, there was a line there. It just goes from one end and routes to the other, whichever way you find necessary. Not a silly question. Great question. Mike R. Cow uses black as ground. See? Stand corrected. What beverage are tea? Yep, no idea what that means. Oh, am I consuming? Oh, it's water. It's water. It's just a really, really fancy thing that I stole from my wife. Well, what if it was just like moonshine? I'm just like pounding moonshine. That would never happen. I'd vomit everywhere. Let's see. Clayton Stevens, thanks for the help, but those lines, those carbs actually don't have the drain lines like you would think they would. Robert Vale, I have an 85 Sabre V65 1100. Awesome bike, by the way. Really, really cool bikes. Those 1100. Those things scoot. Those things are scary. And they're really cool bikes. Kind of awkward, but they're cool. Bought it as is for $100. Clean the carbs, replace the fuel lines, filter, and pump because it sat with gas in it for a year. Should I use high octane gas? Sure. It won't change much. I think the high octane just lasts longer, but it'll be fine. You can run either or. I run high octane in any bike, and I've never had any pinging or any weird issues. Lynn H, never check the points. Good point. Great. Clayton Stevens, to Robert's question. Me Fords recommend minimum 91 octane. I prefer running Shell V-Power ethanol free. Gas brand is a personal preference though. Run it in my 3 V45s. Sweet. Great answer. Kevin King, Virginia. I'm in Delaware. Let's see, keep going. No, I don't.
Yeah, see, you know where my front sprocket washer is? I ordered one last Wednesday, and it still hasn't shown up yet. Freaking USPS. I know. I don't know. Um, uh, Ebert Raza. Oil coming out of the air breather. You know, I mean, too much oil. It could be. It could be too much oil. Absolutely. Check your oil level. If it's getting high all the time, getting high all the time. If it's raising in level all the time, then there's a chance that you could be getting fuel into the oil mix. J.R. Rowland, suggestions on upgrading Stator system on an 84, dude. Night. 84 Honda Goldwing 1200 Interstate. Would you do the MOSFET changeover compared to the stock system? I appreciate your comments on help. I don't know too much about the MOSFET. I'm sure it works great. I think they like strap an alternator to that thing or something crazy. Um, the I mean, it's a crappy system, dude. It just is. I mean, the wiring would work, and all of a sudden it would break down, and then you would just solder the lines, and then that would work for a while until it stopped working. And you had to pull the motor out or something like that. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. It's overall not the best charging system. If the MOSFET people were swearing by it, try it. It's better than pulling the motor out. Know that. Unless that's not the one that you pull the motor out on. 7. Let's see. Keep going. Should I add zinc to my 79 Honda Matic? No. No. You're talking about no. Just use good oil. Yofi Tofi. 3 mechanics failed to fix my 86 Honda Shadow. Basically, it loses power sometimes and won't accelerate above 30. They rebuilt the carburetor, replaced the jets, and replaced the CDI box. Any ideas? 86 Honda Shadow. I mean, right off the bat, I think it's something to do with the vacuum pistons. Check and see if you have a fuel pump. If I don't know if the 86 model has a fuel pump or not. That could be the issue. Your tank may not be venting. Try just putting a hose to the bottom of the tank and turning the gas on and seeing if it drains the whole tank into a container. If it doesn't, it slows down and there's something going on inside the tank. And it may not be venting correctly. That's a tough one, but that's what I would think. Yeah. I mean, yeah. CDI boxes, that's a solid swap, but if they've cleaned the carb 3 times, they're not very good at finding the issue, apparently, because if they knew with confidence that they cleaned the carbs the first time and they're going to do it 2 more times, then they either don't know what they're doing or they've missed something 3 times inside the carburetor. Eugene Long. I am a retired IBEW union electrician. That's what I'm talking about. I need you in my back pocket, brother. AWG copper wire gauge is dictated by the amps of the load, plus 125% fuse at the load, plus, okay, I'm already confused. Wire gauge will likely be no larger than 16 AWG, which is rated for maximum 10 amps. 18 gauge wire is rated for up to 7 amps. Solder all connections, then heat shrink or double layer taping. Boom. Drop the hammer. Thanks, Wong. Alright, I have to wrap this up. I have to wrap it up. Sorry, guys. I know there's tons more questions. Oh, no, we're almost at the end. No, we're not. We're not. Okay, a couple more. I want to get this video out to you guys.
Where are we at? Wong. He dropped a hammer. All right, we're going over from Wong. Keto. Is it possible that the high-low switch could be it? Yes, it's very likely. Yeah, it's totally likely. You just need to check for continuity with it in those two different modes. Ross, love the channel, man. 78 KZ, 50 people. We haven't dropped. We haven't dipped too low yet. Let's see. Mike Egger, no zinc oil, dude. Just run regular good oil. Thanks for all the videos that helped me in them fill my CB750. You're very welcome. Let's see. What's the best way to upgrade a high beam light to LED? Just the high beam light? And it's not that strong. Would 14-volt battery be enough? 14-volt battery's from. 12-volt battery is fine if it's for a 12-volt system. Mike Egger's going off on me. Christina Lynn, thank you for what you do. Dude, you're very welcome, Christina. Best LED light for 2000 Valkyrie. I don't know. Mike Egger is fresh. Rebuild new motors requires zinc at break-in, I believe. No, that's not true. Kevin, that's not. That's not true. It's helpful on a fresh rebuild. Zinc is helpful. It's helpful to add that stuff to the cams and do all that kind of stuff, but it's not necessarily like a must. But if you use a good quality oil and then change it out after any type of warm-up phase that you go through, it's going to be totally fine. David, tack line, the headlights on my 04 Honda CBR 600RR are out. The YouTubers say that it's caused by a bad solder connection in the right-hand control switch. What do you think? I've totally seen it there. And as a part of the starter switch circuit, I've also seen it. I think that routes the left-hand side has that big like 32-pin gray connector on the left-hand side. I've seen ground wires melt on that connection, on like the F4Is and that kind of stuff. So I'd also look there. But yes, it could be that starter button switch is what they're talking about, which is also the high beam, low beam. No, it's not. It's on this side. Kill switch. They switch them up. If they're talking about the starter button side, absolutely. It can be an issue there. Alexander Trikovic. I have Honda VFR 750 RC24. When I drive her, it's too heavy to steer. When I go above 30 kilometers, when I turn left or right, I can barely turn back to go straight. Forks in is good tires too. Check the steering head bearings. Check the steering head bearings, tire pressure. Check the steering head bearings. Yeah. Check that out. Or make sure that your brakes aren't dragging or anything weird like that. Like one side dragging, one side's not, or something weird. Michigan guy. I'm building a 232cc Honda Ruckus. Dope or nope? That sounds dope. 232 cc's. Jesus, what motor are you putting in that? It sounds awesome. Dude, ruckuses when you get up in those CCs on the interstate, it is not an enjoyable time. I've ridden one that's pretty quick, that does 60, over 60, and it's not an enjoyable time. It's pretty scary on the interstate with cars that are above you, and you're like, on a super shaky ruckus. I say dope Michigan guy. Let's see. Is the 81 CB650 same alternator for 81 CB750? No, not at all. Completely different animal. CB919 bar end weights, clutch side are always loose and keep on losing them on the road. Thoughts? Thanks for addressing. CB919 bar end weights, clutch side. Dude, just like replace the inner guts to it. There's like these clamp stuff that kind of holds stuff all in there, and just replace that stuff. And maybe use like, if they keep falling out, Honda sells this stuff called cement, and it's not really cement. It's more like tacky goop, and you can kind of help that along with sticking in there. That's actually pretty funny because a lot of the 919s, they do come out like that, which is very interesting. But there should be a clamp that, like these two spikes, when you push it in and you're going to come back out, these spikes kind of grab onto the bar. So those probably gotten bent or spun from messing with it or trying to tighten it in. You might just need to replace that system on the inside. That stuff does wear out. The rubber that holds those weights on, or however that system is designed, usually the weights on the inside. Is the CB650 a good bike? It all depends. It was when it was new, but they can have lots of different issues going on with them. I don't like them too much because they're rubber mounted motors. So if someone were to like hit the front end, then bends the frame. Just boom, the frame's bent. Most of them got bent back in the day. Okay. All right. I'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys for hanging in there. What is Honda's? Oh, this is a good question. The Travis Gaines. What does Honda use to reseal the airbox boots? They use what I just mentioned, that hand grip cement. So if you go on it, you might be able to find it on Amazon or something. Type in Honda's hand grip cement and be like a little like aluminum tube, and it's not. When you think of cement, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be bad. It's just like goop, and it like dries really thick. They use it for their hand grip. I think it sucks on hand grips, honestly. But it's a mess. I mean, it sticks to everything. Really sticky stuff. It will help with your airbox boots for sure. And it looks soft, kind of clear. It dries into like this clear yellowy tint. Yeah. So that might help you. Travis, your video for cleaning and rebuilding Nighthawk carbs was awesome. Thanks. I was able to actually get the bike running again. Dude, fantastic. Thank you so much for checking that out. Michael Carter, could you show a video for Honda Nighthawk 750 change switch? Neutral indicator screwed up. Your neutral indicator switch is probably worn out. The Nighthawk's indicator switch, I've heard more issues with those things. People have swapped them out, they don't work, whatever. Try swapping the switch out if you can. Check that wire down there because it's kind of tucked in there tight. Check continuity through it. But the change switch, if you're talking about the turn signal change switch, then it's the same video I already have up. It's pretty much identical. So that's it. I'm 14 minutes over when I was supposed to. If you guys are going to bed, awesome. There'll be a video for you in the morning for you to check out. I'm going to post it here in about 10-15 minutes. Just a quick little video on the brand new VF750 carb teardown that I have available for you guys. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for an hour's time. If you've stood the whole way, you are a champion. And I hope you are healthy and safe. I hope everybody's healthy and safe. Even if you were a part of this and you're not, or you were and now you're not, or you weren't, now you are, whatever. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope that changes in the future that will help everybody out with their health. I hope no one's going through anything too crazy. Be sure to subscribe to the mailing list when I send out invitations or information about these live streams or new videos coming out. I try to hit you guys up on there. If you need more in-depth training or understanding or want me to help you really dive into an issue that you have, check out the membership. It might be just for you. We have private Facebook groups. We have a community page, like a forum for just the members. I have hours and days of content from all types of different systems when it comes to electrical or advanced or basic or chassis or suspension or brakes or whatever. Tons and tons of carburetor stuff on there as well. So I'd love to see you guys there if you really need some help. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care. Later.